Hi everybody. I have a quick question. Who is a developer in the room? More a developer guy? More a security guy? Nobody especially? Okay. So my name is Louis-Guillaume. I'm working for Microsoft. I spent the last 10 years as a lead developer. Today I'm more technical reference. Before that, just to do a quick overview, I started like 20 years ago as a hacker, so in the security, but on the bad, I would say bad side. Why hacker? Because hacker is cool. I was able to hack software, hack companies when I can store my DVX and stuff like this. I remember the first software I cracked, it was this one, for embroidery for my mother, so not so cool. But still after that I became a developer, so C, C++, Java, PHP and C#. Node.js, lots of stuff like that, but because I have to deliver a lot of software to the customer, so as Microsoft we have also a consulting company, so I was developing software for companies. DevOps was mandatory for us because I was driving a large team of developers, and of course we also had we were accountable of developing security for the software we deliver to the customer. So of course, SecOps became something mandatory, something I implement every day. And I will try to share it with you. So just to be sure, I will present what is DevSecOps, what you can do in any project, any kind of project, software, any technology, what you can do, what kind of tooling you can use, so how you need to set it up also. Because you need to tune it for your company and your process, but it's very easy, and also what you can do when you pass the first step. First, the story. So you know that every company is using a lot of software, Axians, Vinci, other software companies. Sorry, you are using a software to book your cab, you are using a software to book a doctor, you are using a software to book bring food at home. So we have a lot of software, a lot of API, whatever we want, and at the same time we improve also the network security. So we have a lot of layer of firewall, something like this, but it's totally useless. Today, every child can download a runner, we call it like this, when you just give the URL and you try to search for vulnerabilities in your application. Which means even if you have Axians, you put a very strong security on the network. If I can access to your website, there is a hole maybe I can use to enter in your network, hack the database, and from that hack everything. So it's very important to harden the security of your application. That's really the weakest point of your company. And it's very hard for a developer to say you are faulty if there is a security issue in your source code. Because of course you did all the hard work to do the software, but if something bad, it's your fault. And it's not easy to be perfect as a developer. There is a bug, but there's also vulnerabilities you are not aware of, because it's not your fault, but something you are using in your code, and you don't know there is a security hole inside. So the DevSecOps will be helping you as developer to improve the security of whatever you deliver, and also for the security guy to say, I have some security requirement I want to put in my process, but I want to give you the tool in your process, so as a developer you don't have to do anything. Everything will be enforced by default in what you are developing. I want also to present the difference between all of those terms, because you can hear the different one depending on who is speaking in front of you. And I will try to explain the difference of what we have. So the last one, DevOps, is DevOps. Everybody knows what it means. It's developer working with ops, having automation for building and deploying. And then we add security at the end, which means you remove access to the production, you insert role-based access control, you add audit. So it's basically what we are doing for the last 10 years. In the middle is when you want to inject some security tooling inside your DevOps process. So we are going to see a lot deeper after that. And SecDevOps is when you say security is before even developing, which means you teach the developer how to write secure code. You also sometimes give a security environment. For example, you don't allow them to download package from internet, so Nugget, NPM, Maven, you block all of them, and you put an internal repository of your package. Because you know that this package is secure enough. You can even secure the computer, say this computer doesn't have access to internet, you cannot install whatever you want on your computer. There is some company who wants to do that. As a developer, you know it's the worst thing ever. You want to be able to install whatever you want. So what do you really want as a company is a safe DevSecOps. You want security everywhere. That's the full term we should use, but it's very hard to tell. I trained all afternoon yesterday just to do one try. And so DevSecOps, what is it? So DevSecOps is the work of everybody around the project to work together. It's not only one guy, everybody is a developer, even the product owner, the scrum master, everybody can help to the DevSecOps part. Everybody work on it, and it has to be autonomous. If you do a manual check, if you do run a manual security tooling, it's not DevSecOps. You need everything to be automatic. It can be a role, like we see the presentation with a Scrum Master guy. It can be a guy, but it's not the guy who is responsible to be a doer. He's just responsible to be sure that at every step of the pipeline, either on the CI, even on the coding part, you are doing security. So he can give you advice on stuff of what you are doing. It's basically what I'm doing when I'm helping companies. So I try to say, here is your process. From what you explained to me, here is what I see you could do or what you can do. Because sometimes there is some stuff you cannot do in your context. It's very important to be autonomous and automatic for 3 reasons. First, when you are a user or a human, you can make a mistake. You can be perfect during 1 year, and one day you are too tired, you have an hangover, and you do one mistake. So you need to be something being by a script or a robot, so it can be reliable. It needs also to be scalable, because when you have one project, it's fine, but when you are developing a microservices architecture, for instance, you have dozens of pipelines, so you need to be sure to apply the same security rules and control to all of pipeline. And when you have a lot of projects like Axians, you need to be able to have the same security level for everything. And last part is very nice because you have homogeneity and ubiquity. Homogeneity is because you can say, you are developing in Java, you are developing in .NET or in PHP, I can give the same security level for all your projects because I can provide tooling who works for everybody, or say, here's a good practice and you can apply for all of them, not depending on what kind of coding software or IDE you are using. And ubiquity, because if you are a proper DevOps company, you will say, I have a software company, nobody can deploy without going through my software factory, which means if you put your security control inside the security software factory, you can ensure that all 100% of the project from Axians can have the same level of security, which is very nice. From a top level management, when you say, I want to improve the security of all my development, the best thing to do is to say, I have a software factory, so I think you have GitLab, so I need to put DevSecOps inside GitLab for everybody. Just to be sure, so some people are developers, some are not. Just to be sure, here's the story. So we always have at the left the code of the developer. When you push it to a source repository, then we trigger the build when we can run unit testing, integration testing, and we start to deploy to the different environments one by one. And just to what we call CI/CD. So to everybody to be aware, because I'm going to drill through the different steps of what we are going to see and when we are going to put the different security steps. First, what we can do is we need to secure the pipeline itself. So we need to put role-based access control to the pipeline, which means as a lead developer or tech lead, that doesn't allow everybody to edit my pipeline for one reason, because if I put security in my pipeline, anybody can remove it. The second step is the source code. You cannot imagine the way of I can find vulnerabilities by analyzing your source code. Sometimes some companies say we want to share it, it's nice, but you cannot share everything. If you are building shared components, libraries, it's fine to share the source code, but you should not share everything to everybody. And of course, you should add audit to be sure that if someone edits the pipeline, remove something, or change the configuration of something, you need to be able to see who did that. The second part is secret management. I'm pretty sure that all developers already add or put a connection string in the configuration file, which means a way or secret to connect to a database or something like this. And every time they told me, yeah, but it's just the development environment. It's not a secret, I don't care. That's not true, because sometimes you don't know if the security, the development environment is segregate it from another environment on the network. So if I can hack the database and development, maybe from that, then I can add something else. So you should never put any secret in the source code in a configuration file. All secrets should be done through the DevOps pipeline. So what we are doing, depending on what tooling you are using, we have some, and you can find on internet, credential scanner. Credential scanner is something you run on the source code. When you push your source code, it will analyze and try to say, okay, it seems you are pushing a password, a certificate, a secret, a connection string. And then you can say, block my pull request if I find something like this. So you can ensure that even a young developer will never push a credential inside the source code. Because sometimes you say, oh, I forgot, let's say, I put a secret, I push my code and say, oh, I forgot it. I can push again my source code while removing it, but in the history, you still find the former source code. So which means, you need to update the password in database. So you don't want to allow something like this. The second part is, you can also say, I will inject the password, through the pipeline with variable environment, stuff like this. It's the first step of maturity. But if someone can access the pipeline, he can also retrieve the password. So the second step of maturity with DevOps is even the password are injected through the pipeline, but are not stored inside the pipeline. You store it in a vault. Vault is something, when you can put something inside, you cannot retrieve it. For instance, I'm a developer, so I just know my software needs to access the database. Another guy, the ops, will perform the pipeline and say, okay, I know that I will inject the variable connection string in this configuration file in the pipeline. And another guy, the security guy, can create the password of this database inside the vault, which means only one people in the world can know the password. Even the ops doesn't need to know that. So good practice is to put secrets in the vault. Security in the pipeline, the most interesting part, in my opinion. And I'm going to explain the shift left mindset. Does someone already heard of that? The shift left mindset is because normally when we start the security testing is we pay people to do a penetration testing. So we deploy our application and we pay a company or software security team to say, can you try penetration testing of my environment? And when they find something, they write a report, they give it to you, and then you give it to the developer and you write again. We can improve that by saying, okay, maybe we don't have to wait the production. Maybe during the DevOps process, we can also have tooling who performs the same kind of testing. So there is tooling you put in command line, you say, okay, scan my website, and it will write for you a report of that. It's nice, but it means you need to redevelop again. And when we say mind shift, is because we are going to put our security test here, before the build. So that's very important. It means between the developer writing something and before reaching the source code. So it means that I have to do something on the software of the computer of the developer. No, you can do that, but I will not recommend that because some people are using Linux, Windows, Mac OS, and it will not work. What we are going to use is the pull request mechanism. Pull request is when you say, when I want to push my source code, I will have an intermediate place when my source code can be analyzed and when I can perform testing on it. And if not, if I find security, I will block the source code before reaching the source main repository, main master branch. So I'm going to do a demo after that, so it's going to be clear. And I will present you the kind of tooling what you are running at this part. So you have two types of tooling you run. First is SAST. So SAST is when you say, here's my source code, please scan it for me. Like Coverity, Sonar Cube, stuff like this. So you say, please analyze the code I wrote and please try to find this security issue. Here's all the kind of security they can find, like SQL injection because you didn't protect your parameters. If you don't write cruel headers, it'll also say maybe you try to write on the hard disk and stuff like this. So you just run something against your source code you wrote. So it's not perfect, and most of the time the issue is that because they only analyze one method, not through the different layer of your software, you have a lot of false positive. But still, when you have API, it's perfect because it will find the major issue you can forget, especially a WASP. And we have another software which is less known, but which for me is more important, SCA. SCA will analyze not the code you wrote, but the code that you are using. For instance, if you are downloading NPM package, Maven package, Nugget package, which means open source package from internet, because you are, not because you are lazy, but someone wrote a library for you, you say, I want to use this one. Do you check if the library has a vulnerability issue? I'm pretty sure nobody never did that. You just say, okay, I want to use PDF, there is a PDF for my JavaScript, I'm taking it, taking it, and I'm taking the last version of it. Normally it should be perfect. When you do that, the software will say, okay, it will take your source code, just ignore your source code, just take your package file, say, you are using this library, I will check against my database if I'm aware of a vulnerability in a vulnerability in this library. If yes, it will tell you, you should not use this library or you should update it. Another story, for instance, in last December, there is a JavaScript library called Events, which was downloaded 1 million times in 1 month. So just to give you how many developers in the world are using it. One developer was maintaining the software for free for 2 years. So you say, yes, no, but it's okay, it was a nice guy. And in October, it just injected a malware who stole your bitcoins inside the software. And in 1 month, it has been developed in 1 million times by people, so being installed in maybe 1 million of software, maybe your company's software. And nobody is aware of that. So some people downloaded the software, and the vulnerability was found 2 months later. So you never check, when you see in the internet the library has been hacked, you don't say, I will check all my software for that. The good point of DevSecOps is the next time you're going to build, because the vulnerability is in the database, the software factory will say, your library has a vulnerability, you need to update it or maybe to downgrade to the previous version. That's why it's very important. You should be aware that 80% of the last very big vulnerabilities of big companies being hacked is from third-party open source libraries. Not because open source is not secure, but because there is a vulnerabilities and nobody take off checking if security is inside of that. The second part is licensing. Sometimes you are downloading a license and you don't check the license of it, which means you can check something on Nugget.com or NPM when you are using the software or the library to open source your software to the internet and add the same license. And nobody is checking of that, which is very bad for a company because you can be sued for using an open source software which is forbidden for commercial use. And this software can also say, I want to prevent all GPL or MIT software in my company. So it will check the license of the package you are using. I will do a quick demo of what I'm telling, just to be sure what I want to be sure that all my developer, all my security tooling is performed before reaching the main repository. So I'm using Azure DevOps. I could use any software because it's just tooling you add in your software. So what I'm going to do is, I have my pipeline. I will show you. It's just a basic pipeline. So on Azure DevOps, we have two ways of doing pipeline. Either we are using a pipeline as code, so using YAML, or we can also have the WYSIWYG when you just need to drag and drop. So basically here I have a small ASP.NET application pipeline. So here it's just infrastructure as code you can ignore, but restore when I download the Nugget package, build, testing, and packaging. That's all. What I want to do is, it's something which is being triggered. When I push my source code, this pipeline is going to be continuously being triggered, so I will build my package and then deploy it. But that's only when the source code reaches the master branch. What I want to do is put protection before that. So I'm going to do another pipeline. I will call it quality. And what I want, I say, okay, what I want to do is I want to use add security tools. So like I told you, I can say I want a tool for adding credential scanning. I can also use software who perform vulnerability testing or licensing issue. White source, black duck, so I'm going to use white source. So I just need to put it here, and that's all. My pipeline is ready. Now what I want to do is I will need to configure to say I will forbid people to write to master branch without passing by a pull request. So I will add some security rules to my branch policy, and basically what I'm always doing is say I need code review because code review is mandatory. I will also force to link for work item, which means when a developer is pushing a piece of code, I want him to say it's linked to this task or to this user story, because I want to be able to track whoever worked on what and when. And I will say, okay, I will also say I want to have a build run to be checked if everything is fine. So I just say, whenever someone is pushing code, something is going to happen. And the last part, so I'm a developer, I'm going to do the real life of a developer. I'm going to do a branch, test actions, for example, because you never work on the same. So master branch for non-developer is a branch when the source code of the whole team is here, but you don't work on it directly. You always do a copy, work on your copy, and then when your copy is ready, you can work on it. So here is my version of the source code. Hi guys from Action. Here is my feature. I developed something and I say, okay, I did some evolution and I did a new button on the home page. And what I want to do is say, okay, I'm asking when my code is ready to merge my source code, my functionality to the master branch. To say, okay, I want my source code to be available to the other one. And what's going to be happen, a pull request, you can say here on the right part, all the policy I'm set up in. So it says, there is no code reviewer, there is no work item linked, comments are fine for the moment, and there is a build, which means until everything of that is not green, I cannot bypass it. So if I'm adding, I will say the code reviewer say, okay, I say it's okay. Normally you will say, I put the rule of two reviewer, and it cannot be me, but you will say code review will be okay, and if I have a work item, just to be sure, yeah, I work on a task, it will be fine. So that's a good way to say, here I can add any security I want to do, and every developer will have to go through my security very easily, but it's transparent for him. If not, if there is an issue, you will receive an email, notification, Slack, Team, whatever you want, say something went bad, you need to fix it before merging to the other developer. Yes. And then that's for the CI part. And for the CD part, we have other tooling you can use also to improve the security. Dynamic application security testing is a software I told about, and when you pay a software company, security company to do a scan, they are basically using this kind of software. They click and run it, they wait for the report, and you pay for the report. So you can use the same kind of software. It will try to run and to attack your website, your API, by injecting parameters and stuff like this. But it's a black box, so it's not always perfect, but you can still find the major security issue you can find on any website. The new version of software that we have is interactive application security testing. So that's a new version. The same company, very famous company of security software, are selling that software for years, and since 1 or 2 years are starting to do this kind of software. The difference is something you run inside. Sometimes something is injected in your source code, but sometimes they can analyze your source code, which means instead of just hacking your website by sending anything, they can try to analyze your source code to say, okay, because I saw that in a different layer, I will try to be smarter and to be a smarter attacker. That's why this one is very, very powerful, but very expensive too. Security after the pipeline, because it's not finished. When you deploy, you can also do security after that. Container scanning is very important for the same stuff. People say, okay, I'm doing my Docker file, I'm publishing my containers, so I'm using an image from docker.com, using Alpine or a Linux Ubuntu, and my source code is secure. But do you check if the image you are building from is secure too? Because there is vulnerabilities in the image on docker.com too. Not because it's not secure, it's because they are using themselves open source library which have vulnerabilities. So you should continue also scanning your container image to be sure, maybe since the last time someone found vulnerabilities in the software. Anti-malware, of course, we always forget it, but there is people who can install malware or something. Is there a library in the on your network? For example, my last customer, one developer installed a crypto miner on the server. It's nice for them. You have a lot of money at the end of the month. And the fee of the cloud bill was higher. So we have software to detect crypto miner. Basically, they detect CPU usage during the day, and if the CPU is high during 24 hours, there's an issue. Of course, we have different software. We, when I say we, in the world, not especially Microsoft. Network analyzer who can analyze dependency of communication. If we are deploying, for example, if you are deploying a microservices architecture within Kubernetes or outside, you have software who analyze the communication between your different components to say, oh, maybe I saw an HTTP transaction instead of HTTPS, or I see this component communicating with this one, which is normally not allowed, or a lot of outgoing network. So a lot of software that you can use. We have also performed the DevSecOps toolkit for our usage. We have a lot of, I present you Crate Scan, but there is like 75 different small pieces of tooling for specific usage. Analyzing C++ library, analyzing DLLs, component behavior, heuristic search. So a lot of software. Conclusion, DevOps is nice. If you play with it, I'm pretty sure you will never go back. Agility, as you can see, can be fun. It's powerful, waterfall is a shell. But security DevSecOps is all around the path at any steps. So you can say, okay, maybe these steps, I'm a developer, I'm more of that. Maybe I'm an IT guy, maybe here, compliance, validation, and policy to secure when I'm deployed on the cloud or on premises. It's my role as ops. So everybody can work on it. What is important? DevSecOps is a method, a mindset. You say, I need and I want to secure every step. And you want to be lazy. You say you don't want to have to do that by yourself. You want to have tooling to do that for that. So you have a lot of tooling, maybe dozen, 20 tools you need to add to your software factory. But when it's done, it's very powerful. And most of the time I spend less than 1 day to set up my whole security pipeline of my pipeline. So it's not a big investment. Of course, what I like, because I'm a developer, it's a power to fix our own problem, because we have pressure to fix the security, but we don't have the means to do that. And the more important on the right, there is no magical stuff. It's not perfect, but it will greatly improve the security. Of course, it doesn't fit the same way in different teams or different companies, so you need to think of what you are doing, the way you are developing, where you are deploying containers, not containers, in the public cloud, on premises. And then you need to think and improve one afterward. And what next? Because it's not finished. What we are doing currently at Microsoft, because even for big companies like us, we have the same difficulty as every company. We need to learn. Developers have to learn, and it took us time to go to the full DevOps way. So like the last, I think, software was Office who went to Azure DevOps last year. And even Windows operating system is using DevOps and continuous deployments. And you say, oh, I can do Blue-Green or Canary deployment with Windows. They are doing it, so you don't see how it works, but it's doing. So what we try to do is gamification. Security is fun. So we have red team game, which means every 2 sprints, for example, a team of developers, your team is trying to hack my software. So you can improve your way of security attacking when I can improve my defense. And the next month, I will try to hack your software in the same way. So it can be fun to do security. Education is important. Some people will say, I've found a vulnerability in my software. because I'm using an open source story. When I'm telling you that, for you it's just theory because I'm someone from outside. When you have a return from experience from Actions and you talk during an Actions developer say, my team has an issue, but we succeed to overpass it, you need to share with your colleague because your problem is probably their problem too. And of course, to be transparent, there is no shameful of being hacked. You need to learn from that. As Microsoft, when we have an issue, we publish everything in post-mortem, so what was the vulnerabilities and how we fix it. Because also how you will fix your problem can help the other one. And dashboard. Dashboard is the same when we calculate the velocity of a sprint of a team. We also have dashboard for the bug and vulnerability issue. Just to see if the DevSecOps process over the months we could reduce the number of issues we found out our project to the new one. Just to be sure that it's working, or if we need to continue to improve it. I was very fast, but only 25 minutes. Do you have any questions? Don't be shy. Does it look complex to put DevSecOps to your actual process? I can tell you it's not. You just need someone to say, okay, I agree. I don't know if you are actually with your team to say, okay, this software, I don't know, between white source, black bug, X-ray, something, we want to use it internally. You just need to say, I want to use one software. To put it, you just need to copy-paste in your pipeline. It's just a small executable, and it's working like this. It's very easy. You can start tomorrow morning at noon. You will have a part of security in your process. And nobody ever in your development team will have to take care of this because you have the software who do the work for that. Which is great because if you have a turnover, if you are going in vacation, you don't have to learn or to teach someone about to do it because it's already that. So it's cool. I'm done.